Good morning, children. In today's class, we are going to see what is honor of a bill, its meaning, and then the accounting treatment under the various cases for honor of a bill. So let us first understand what is the meaning of this word honor of a bill. It means a situation when the drawee of the bill makes the payment on maturity to the holder of the bill. In simple words, whenever the payment of the bill is made by drawee to the payee, it is known as honor of a bill. We have seen in a previous class that there are four situations in which the bill can be dealt in by the drawer. And out of those four situations, the case number one says retaining the bill receivable till the date of maturity by the drawer himself. So let us understand how we are going to write the entries in this case, and for that I've picked up the illustration number 2 from your textbook. This illustration says on 1st April 2019, Ram sold goods to Mohan for rupees 50,000. On the same date, Mohan accepted a bill drawn upon him by Ram at 3 months for rupees 50,000. On the due date, the bill was met. Give the journal entries in the books of both the parties. So children, first of all, you should understand the question very properly. Let us see the first line once again. Ram sold goods to Mohan for rupees 50,000. Till now in the chapter journal entries, you have done a single transaction with one or two lines and you've passed an entry for that. But now your question will be a complete case in which you have to understand the meaning of every line and accordingly go into the book of drawer and drawing. So in this question, Ram is the seller of the goods who is selling goods to Mohan, and Mohan is the buyer. The amount for goods sold is rupees 50,000. I hope this is clear to all of you. So when we pass the entries, we have to pass the entries both in the book of the seller as well as buyer. Now the next line says, on the same date, Mohan accepted a bill drawn upon him by Ram at 3 months for rupees 50,000. So let us first of all understand the meaning. Mohan is the acceptor of the bill, and I hope you all know that acceptor is drawee. Drawee's another name is acceptor. And who has drawn the bill? Bill has been drawn by Ram. In every situation, in every question, the seller will only draw the bill. Buyer can never draw a bill, he will only accept the bill. Now the duration or the term of the bill is 3 months, correct? And the amount of the bill is the amount for which the goods has been sold, rupees 50,000. Even if they have not written 50,000 here, we will have to take the same amount 50,000 for the sale of goods of drawing the bill. Now comes the third line. On the due date, that means the date on which bill gets matured, and by adding 3 days of grace, it becomes date of maturity. It says the bill was met. This is what is carrying the meaning honor of a bill. In simple words, Troy Mohan has made the payment of the bill to the drawer Ram, and this is called bill was met. In technical word, we call it honor of a bill. I hope you all have understood this question, and then now we move with the entries both in the books of Ram as well as Mohan. So let us see the entry. What I will suggest you is when you're passing entries, make two journal format, one for the drawer and on the next page draw the format for the drawing. Always prepare two different format. On the left page you can take the drawer format, on the right page you can take the drawings format. And as you read the question, line by line you write entries which connect to both the drawer and drawing with that particular line. So if you remember the question, the goods was sold by Mohan. So in Ram's book, I'm sorry, it was sold by Ram. So Ram will pass the entry for selling the goods. April 1, 2019, the entry for goods sold goes Mohan account debit to sales account. I repeat, Mohan account debit to sales account, being the goods sold by Ram on credit. And the amount is 50,000. So we have the amount debit and credit 50,000. Now for the same transaction, you go to Mohan's book and see the entry for purchase. So the purchase entry in the book of Mohan for the same transaction is April 1, 2019, purchases account debit to Ram, being the goods purchased on credit from Ram, and the amount is same, 50,000, 50,000. So here is one line, one transaction having an entry both in the book of seller and buyer. Now, according to question, on the same date when the goods were sold, the bill was drawn by Ram on Mohan. So let us see the second entry in the book of draw Ram, and the second entry on the same date, April 1, goes bills receivable account debit to Mohan, being the bill of exchange drawn. We can simply write being the bill of exchange drawn, or we can write being the bill receivable drawn on Mohan, and the amount of the bill will be same, 50,000, 50,000. Now for the same transaction, the entry in the book of Droy Mohan is April 1, Ram debit to bills payable account. Ram debit to bills payable account. Amount is 50,000, 50,000, being the bills accepted by Mohan, given by Ram. So this is for bill of exchange drawn by Ram. For Ram, that is drawer, the same bill becomes bills receivable, whereas for the drawee, Mohan, the same bill becomes bills payable. This you should understand very clearly. So there is one single bill having the name bill receivable in the book of drawer and having the name bills payable in the book of drawee. Now comes the due date. Due date will be 3 months because the duration of the bill, the term of the bill was 3 months. From April 1, 3 month gets over completed on July 1. And then we all have studied that we have to add 3 days of grace. So July 1 plus 3 more days makes it July 4 date of maturity. Remember, due date is July 1, but date of maturity is July 4. On this date, the bill was met by the drawee Mohan and Ram received the payment. Entry goes July 4 cash account debit to bills receivable account, being the amount received against the bills receivable, 50,000, 50,000, and this is called honor of a bill. And on the same date, July 4, in the book of Mohan, the entry goes bills payable account debit to cash account, being the payment of the bill made on due date or date of maturity, we can say 50,000, 50,000. And that completes the entries in the books of Draw Ram and in the books of Drawee Mohan under the case 1 where the bill was retained by the draw Ram till the date of maturity. This was the case for which we have seen this example. When the bill is paid, then it is called honor of a bill, and after that there is no existence of bill receivable or bills payable. That is completed. Now we move with case 2. I hope you have understood this case 1. You must do this question in copy, children, so that you get a revision. Now remember, the case 2 says when the bill is discounted with the bank. That means the drawee has this option of not waiting till the due date or date of maturity. Like in previous question, it was 3 months time. Drawee has an option that instead of waiting for 3 months, he can very well on the same date when the bill was drawn can get the bill discounted with his bank where he operates his current account. So that duration of time period has no meaning when this case is considered. Troy can get his payment immediately on the same date when the bill is discounted with the bank on the date on which bill was drawn. So this is one of the service which is provided by the bank, and you must have studied this in your business studies functions also, functions of the bank. Bank provides this function to the customers who operate their current account and they are doing business, that they can get their bill discounted with the bank before the due date. Now the important is on what date the bill is getting discounted, and for that time duration from the date of discounting till the date of due date of the bill, bank charges discounting charges which will be deducted from the bill when the payment will be made by bank to the drawer. Let us see an example to understand this. Illustration number 3 from your textbook says Prakash received from Mohan an acceptance for 30,000 on 1st July 2019 at 3 months. So children, in this question, they are not saying the goods was sold. This is by default that there was a good sold by one of the party to another. Here, Prakash is the buyer and Mohan is an seller. So Prakash received from Mohan an acceptance. The acceptance is always received by the drawee, and the drawer draws a bill and the amount is 30,000. So what we have to do is we have to first make it very clear that Mohan is the drawer and Prakash is the children, I'm sorry, it is not Mohan the drawer, it is Prakash who is receiving acceptance. So Prakash becomes Prakash's drawer and Mohan is drawee because he's giving the acceptance, and the one who gives acceptance is always drawee. So let us go into the first entry. Prakash is drawer. So entry in the book of Prakash on July 1 is bills receivable account debit to Mohan 30,000. 30,000 being bills receivable drawn on Mohan, and the same transaction has an entry in the book of Mohan. In the book of Mohan, the entry goes Prakash debit to bills payable account. So remember, this bill payable is a liability for Mohan, whereas for Prakash, this is a asset. So this should be clear. For drawer, the bills receivable is an asset, whereas for drawee, bills payable is a liability. Now, the second line of the question says, Prakash got this acceptance discounted at 12% per annum at his bank. Please understand this very clearly. This tells us that this is a case of discounting of bill. So what Prakash is doing is on the same date, because there is no date mentioned, on same date July 1 when the bill is drawn, Prakash is getting the bill discounted with his bank, and the rate of discounting charges goes 12% per annum. So children, first of all, let us see that what is the duration of the bill. The term of the bill is 3 months, and on the same date July 1 it is getting discounted. So bank will deduct 3 months discounting charges for the bill. So we will have to first calculate discounting charges. It will be on 30,000 at the rate of 12% per annum for 3 months. So when you calculate discounting charges, it will be 30,000 into 12 by 100 into 3 by 12. If per annum is not mentioned, then you have to completely draw it. I'm sorry, you have to completely calculate it at 12% rate. But here, since per annum is mentioned, so time duration is very important to be taken care of. So we will calculate discounting charges and then we will write the entry in the book of Prakash. So here is the entry. Entry on July 1 for discounting of bill goes bank account debit, discounting charges account debit to bills receivable account. See, they have done this calculation here, but you should not do it here. You should do it in working notes. So the discounting charges deducted by bank is coming as 900. The amount of the bill should be credited with 30,000, and 30,000 minus 900, 29,100 is the amount received by the drawer, that is Prakash. So Prakash need not wait for 3 months time. On July 1 itself, he is receiving the amount from his bank, and since bank is paying, bank will credit the amount in his bank account. So instead of 30,000, 29,100 will go to the bank account of Prakash. He will have to bear the loss of discounting charges, which is 900, and this is the case of bills getting discounted with the bank. And the narration goes, being the bill receivable discounted with bank at 12% per annum. Now, the most important thing, for discounting of bill, there will be no entry in the book of Drawee Mohan. Drawee has nothing to do with the discounting of bill because the bill holder is Prakash, the drawer. He gets the bill discounted with bank on July 1 itself. Drawee has nothing to do with it, but he has to wait till 3 months when the date of bill will mature and he has to make the payment. So after 3 months, that is on October 4, by adding 3 days of grace, we will have to make the payment of bill entry in the book of DROI, and the entry goes bills payable account debit to cash account 30,000 30,000, being the payment of the bill made on the due date. Now payment is going to bank. So drawer has nothing to do with payment. There will be no entry in the book of Prakash on October 4. And it's mentioned here on payment of the bill, no entry will be passed by Prakash since he has already collected the amount of bill on July 1 by getting the bill discounted. So the payment will be received by the bank. And remember the word pay when we were doing the chapter in the beginning in the terminology. So here is the pay. Pay is bank, not the drawer Prakash. So this makes it clear that pay can be a different person other than drawer. So this is the case of discounting of bill which is completed by this example. You should revise it once again and do it in your copy also. Now we move with the next case, that is case number 3, which is known as endorsement of the bill. So first let us understand the meaning of the word endorsement. Endorsement means the transfer of ownership by the drawer to a third party who is generally a creditor of the drawer. I repeat, endorsement of bill means the transfer of ownership of bills receivable by the drawer to a third party who is generally a creditor of drawer. Suppose there is drawer A and there is a drawer B. A has a bill of rupees 10,000 in the name of drawer B. A has a creditor C to whom he has to pay rupees 10,000. So in that case, A can request his creditor to accept the bill which he is having in the name of B and settle his amount due. If C accepts the request of A to take that bill, A will transfer the ownership of bill to him. A, the drawer, will become endorser, and this third party C, the creditor of A, will become endorsee. And that is the meaning of the word endorsement of the bill. Let us see a illustration 4 of your textbook, which says Dev owes rupees 10,000 to Krishan. On 1st May 2019, he sent his promissory note for the amount payable after 3 months. Children, let us treat this word promissory note as bills of exchange. Let us replace this word promissory note with bills of exchange to understand the question. On 1st June 2019, Krishan endorses the promissory note in favor of Wahid, to whom he owed the like amount. On the due date, Dev paid the amount. Pass the journal entries in the books of Krishan, Dev, and Wahid. Now, this question is asking us to pass entries in the book of 3 parties: drawer, drawee, and endorsee. So, Krishan is the drawer of the bill. He has drawn a bill of amount 10,000 for the time duration of 3 months in the name of Dev. So entry in the book of Krishan, the drawer, on May 1 goes bills receivable account debit to Dev, being the bills receivable drawn on Dev, 10,000, 10,000. The simultaneous entry in the book of Droy Dev for the same transaction is Krishan debit to bills payable account, being bills payable accepted from Krishan, 10,000, 10,000. So I think this is pretty clear because we have seen these entries in last 2 illustration also. Now what is different is the question says on 1st June 2019, Krishan endorses this promissory note, which we are considering as bill, in favor of Wahid, to whom he owed the like amount. So Wahid is a third party to whom Krishan has to pay the same amount. So what Krishan is doing is he is transferring the ownership to Wahid, which he has accepted. So the entry for endorsement in the book of Drawer Krishan will go June 1, Wahid debit to bills receivable account, being the bills receivable endorsed in favor of Wahid, 10,000, 10,000. Now for this endorsement, there is no entry in the book of Droy, that is Dev. Dev Droy has nothing to do with endorsement, whereas we will have to pass the entry in the book of third party Wahid. Now the drawer Krishan also becomes endorser. He will be known as endorser, and this third party Wahid will become endorsee. So Wahid will pass on June 1 the entry for receiving the bill from Krishan. Entry goes bills receivable account debit to Krishan. The bills is coming in the book of Wahid and he is receiving it from Krishan. So this entry says being the acceptance received from Kishan 10,000, 10,000. In simple words, being the bill receivable received from Krishan. So here is the endorsee Wahid in whose book we have passed the entry. Now we'll go back on the date of maturity. The drawee Dev will be paying the amount of the bill. So this line says on the due date, Dev paid the amount. So this is known as bills honored. Now let us go into the book of Dev on date of maturity, which is August 4. Bills payable account debit to cash account 10,000, 10,000 being the amount of bills payable paid. There will be no entry in the book of drawer Krishan for honor of bill because he is no more the owner of the bill. He has transferred the ownership to a third party while. So on August 4, no entry in the book of drawer. Now let us go into the book of Wahid. Wahid is the holder of the bill. So he should become pay. August 4, he will receive the payment from drawee Dev and the entry goes cash account debit 10,000 to bills receivable account. I repeat, cash account debit 10,000 to bills receivable account being the amount received for the bill. So this is endorsement of a bill, an example which you should study again and note it down in your copy. Now, the last case. Now we move on with case 4, the last case for honor of bill, its accounting treatment. It says sending the bill to bank for collection. Now children, you must understand this. This is different from discounting of bill. In discounting of bill, the drawer endorses the ownership of the bill to bank and get the payment on the date for which he is no more the owner after the bill has been discounted. Whereas when the drawer sends the bill to the bank for collection, he is only using the agency function of bank to collect the payment of bill on due date from the drawee, and this work will be done by the bank for which bank charges a minimum amount. So in this case, the ownership of the bill is not getting transferred from drawer to bank, but bank is only acting as an agent of the drawer, providing the agency function. So drawer is relieved from remembering the due dates of the bill if he has many bills in hand. The tension for the drawer is if he has, let us suppose 50 bills in a month, he has to remember 50 due dates and date of maturity. But when the drawer uses this function, he will give the bill, hand over the bill, send the bill to the bank. Bank will do this duty of collecting the, reminding the drawee before due date and collecting the amount of bill from drawee. So bank just act as an agent of the drawer. Let us see illustration 5 of your textbook, which says a 2 months bill for rupees 60,000 is drawn by B and Company and accepted by C and Company. See here, this word accepted makes it clear that who is accepting. Acceptance is given by C and Company, so he's drawing. This company is drawing. So B and Company becomes the drawer. There is no entry for sale of goods given. So from this first line itself, we have to make it very clear who is drawer and who is drawee. Payable at the Bank of India. B and Company gives the bill to their banker for collection. So this is case 4, sending the bill to bank for collection. On due date, the bill is honored. Show what entries will be passed in the books of B and Company. The question is asking us to pass entry in the book of drawer B and Company. When I discuss, I will also let you know what will be the entry in the book of C and Company. So no dates are there, so we directly go into entry in the book of B and Company. The first entry is bills receivable account debit to C and Company, being bills receivable drawn in name of C and Company. Amount is 60,000, 60,000. If we have to write the entry in the book of Droy C and Company for the same transaction, in C and Company's book, entry will go B and Company account debit to bills payable account 60,000, 60,000, being the bills payable accepted from C and Company. I hope you understand this. Now, since the line says B and Company gives the bill to the banker for collection, here is the new entry which says bills sent for collection account debit to bills receivable account, being the bills sent to bank for collection on due date 60,000, 60,000. So here is this new account open. Bills sent for collection account will be debited and the bills receivable will be credited because bills receivable is going from drawer to the bank. In the first entry, we debited bills receivable when the bill was made or drawn. In the second entry, the bill is going to bank, so it is credited, and a new account is opened, bills sent for collection account. For this transaction, there will be no entry in the book of drawing, which is C and Company. I hope this is clear. Now comes the due date or date of maturity. On date of maturity, the drawee C and Company will make the payment and the payment will go in the bank account of drawer B and Company because the bill is with bank for collection. The entry goes bank account debit to bills sent for collection account, being the amount collected by bank for bills sent for collection 60,000, 60,000. Children, you should remember that in this case, this will always be bank account debited, no cash account, since the money will be credited to the current account of drawer B and Company. And for this, the entry in the book of the Droy C and Company will go bills payable account debit to cash account 60,000, 60,000, being amount paid for bills payable. And that completes this fourth case, sending the bill to bank for collection. So today we have discussed accounting treatment in the case in the four cases under the topic honor of a bill. Honor of a bill means the payment is made by drawee on date of maturity. Now my request, revise all these four cases, note it down in your copy, practice it with the exercise questions as well. These were examples, you need to practice exercise questions as well. Next class we move with dishonor of bill. So we end this class today. Have a nice day. Keep practicing, studying, and God bless you all. Thank you.